the next nice piece that we're going to do is we are going to throw this bad boy on the draw board. And I promised I'd go over this because it's a homemade draw board. I'm gonna grab that out of the vise in a while.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see I'm just setting up the draw board here. I have a boat winch on a 2x8 with a galvanized screw, and a piece of red PEX material to protect the grips. That's my draw board.
Nice.
Make a couple quick little layout adjustments here. Throw this stuff down.
I hate drawing boats back for the first time. Afternoon swings on deal.
Yeah, that's a lot of people get very scared of it.
That's not something.
Your own, especially. So, not that this necessarily needs to be done, but when I do set up my draw board, just in case anything happens, I keep a target and I knock an arrow.
I gotta tighten up this
Because just in case something happens, we want to make sure that we have a good, we're not dry firing the bow, God forbid. That is my safety caution to anyone working on bows. A lot of stuff in there too. That's rough. One of the best. Oh. Setting up my little camera arm. When we're doing the draw board now. Yep, it's behind me. So you see our little draw board set up?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a little bit of a messy garage, but
you do it.
oh,
Why do you do it that way?
because otherwise you're going to put pressure on the site.
Okay.
And we're putting it so that the draw stops. So the way that the bow is positioned is so that the draw stops are up, so I can see if they're making contact in time.
Take your slack up for you.
There you go.
Right?
Draw it. Looks like everything is in line. What we're doing is we're watching the cams here, watching the cams turn, and we're going to be looking at the timing on when the draw stops touch the cable. We're also checking for the splitters that they're clearing the cams. When the cams rotate, they're not touching. Keep coming.
I see where it is.
A little bit more. All right. Stop. Right. Go one more. Clear. So let me switch the camera here. Oh. All right. So what we did was we were checking that. See that cable stop right under the splitter is right up against it, against that cable, right? You guys can see that pretty well. And now, yep, there we go, right there. And now we look on the other side. It's also touching right in time. So what I'm gonna do is,
Typical Matthews.
you wanna hold this? No. There's actually a sweet spot in here. So let's watch your hand.
Yeah.
So if you look now, what I'm looking at, I'm just holding it, is on this one right now, the top cam is touching just the head of the bottom cam. And on the VXRs, we want it to be the opposite. We want the bottom cam to touch just before the top cam. So we got to make a slight timing adjustment by twisting the cable.
And you did learn that through working on these bows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do.
Can you show that with the video, Chris?
Yeah. So if you could see it,
This is the bottom
see the
cam.
bottom one,
This-
like, and it's just slightly out.
It's hard to see.
Now, if you go look at the top one, the top is touching. Nothing's moved, but the top cam is touching just before the bottom cam is.
Yep.
So on the VXRs, and one of the things that they used on the V3 to fix was that to sync it perfectly, they moved that cable rod down so that they could be perfectly synced. But on the VXRs, it hasn't liked the top cam touching first or equal. It likes the bottom cam slightly ahead by 1/16. So we are going to let this one down. And throw it in the press. You get to do this since it's yours. And then so he's going to take the cable off. And what he's going to do is he's going to slow down the top cam, or you're going to speed up the bottom cam. Right?
Am I good over there? Am I in?
A little back off a little. Now go ahead. Perfect. You're good.
Okay.
So what he's going to do is he's going to take this cable off and going to throw 2 twists into it.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going
give
to,
a little more.
yep. You can take the string off if you want to rotate it out so you can get it to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw 2 twists from the top cam, and that's going to speed up that bottom cam slightly.
Okay, it's hard to see because of the red, so I'm gonna come to me.
Yep.
2 full ones.
2 full.
1, 2.
Yep. And just make sure you, there you go. Good. Throw that back on. When you're making adjustments on the cables, it's always easier to do it if you take the string off because it lets the cam spin freely. With the yokes, it doesn't really matter as much, but
Throw it back on.
yep.
Looks good.
Yep. Check the ones on the bottom that they're both in line. And then just always hold the D loop when you do it. When you let the bow down.
Make sure. Keep it tight, stay in the track.
It's not in track. There it is.
It's in the track?
It's in the track now. If you hold the string in the center when you're pressing or you're letting it down, it keeps everything in the tracks that you had it in. Otherwise, sometimes just in letting the string go, it'll spin a little and things will come off kilter a little bit.
All the strings.
Now, one of the other things you can do too is these are timing holes. You can check them by the timing holes. So look through the hole.
Right.
Look through the hole.
This one's a little advanced.
Yep. So we'll see how bad that is when we put it back on the draw board. Back up here. You guys see the draw board again still?
Mm-hmm.
Doing it underneath, right?
Yeah,
Some
here.
twisted.
Yep, there it is. So, these in tracks. Good. Too much.
Too much?
Too much. That's touching now.
Yeah, that's just about to touch. Show them. Show them what it is.
So, some string materials. You guys still there?
Yeah. All
I lost the
right.
video.
Now we got you.
All right. So some string materials will take twists more aggressively than others. So now you guys see the bottom where it's not even touching.
That's the top.
Yeah.
Top cam is not even touching. And the bottom is slammed. That was 2 twists. So on this particular set of strings with this material,
For the half twist.
that adjustment was very coarse. So now we're going to take a twist and a half out and check it again. Some materials and some builders, you can kind of figure out the amount of twists that you need. I do a lot of strings with Catfish Customs, and the way he builds them, the adjustment that we needed would have been a twist and a half to 2 twists. So on these threads strings, a half twist would have been way more than enough.
He could also have more twist in it originally, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Look at the camera.
Yep.
Wrong way.
Backwards. That would have been really bad.
Yeah.
You guys can see the bow.
Yep.
I know you're looking at the floor, but it's kind of a good perspective. So
You go over there?
tilt the camera that way a little bit. Good, perfect.
Yeah, you gotta tilt it like that. There you go.
There you go.
He's much better at that than I am.
Yeah, Chris has me take all of his pictures. Okay.
It's gonna take
A twist and a half out.
twist and a half out. Yep. And this is where you'll have a little bit of trial and error with timing when you're doing this.
It's 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Low, wrap it around. Put the string in.
Always take your fingers when you press and you unpress. And make sure that you run your finger along the string or along the cables so that you know everything is in the track that it's supposed to be in. So last thing you want to do is let it bow down and a cable or a string is not in the track. It's not a good day. So we got the bow on the draw board and we're checking to see that the stops are hitting in timing. In this particular case, like I said, these bows like it to be that the bottom is just slightly advanced to the top. Keep going. Switch it up a little. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Just about perfect. So right now you can see he's got that bottom one is right on, and I have no bubble in the cable from extra pressure. And the top and the sorry, that was the top cam. This is the bottom cam. Is right up against it with no extra pressure. So you're good.
So the bottom's a little advanced.
Just a touch. Well,
That's good, right?
yeah. Go back to the non-click version. Right there. So just let off a little bit. Go back. Got the clicks. We're like still a half. One more half would probably be perfect, but we'll see how we'll test it. We'll throw it through some paper and we'll see how it does.
Down?
Yep, go ahead, let it down.